The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to the May 5th, the magical Monday edition of today's Trader's Edge Show. I'm your host, Stevie Perseverance Rhodes, who absolutely knows that each of us should always be pioneers of our future versus prisoners of our past. Hope everyone out there is having a great day. Hey, let's make sure we have an extraordinary one. Now, the easiest way to do that is to always remember that life is happening for us, not to us. That's right. When you and I make that one little 2x4 shift, it means we can find the gift in every set of circumstance that life is going to toss at us. Now, today, you and I, we're going to go check on the circumstance of these markets. We'll go figure out what those bulls and bears, what those buyers and sellers are communicating to you and I at just past 11 o'clock in the morning. I do want you to know that I'm absolutely grateful for your presence here. But more important than that, and that's this. During this next 53 minutes, I'm here to serve you. So feel free to send me an email. Send it off to steve@tfnn.com. Inside the subject heading, please put radio show question. Of course, if you're inside our Tiger's Den, well, then any and every ping will do. So let's go ahead and get this show started on Magical Monday. Of course, this is Tiger Financial News Network. I'm Steve Rhodes. Welcome to the show. Well, we begin our day with the mixed bag out there. We've got the Dow and the Dow Transports trading up about 45, 47 points each. The other U.S. indices trading on the downside. S&P's off 21. NASDAQ 186. Russell about 4 points. Semis down 24. Composite off 90. We got gold trade up $79 at $33.22. Silver trade up 14 cents at $32.13. Light sweet crude off $1.60, 56.68 is the print there. Natural gas up 4 cents. 30-year Treasury print out 114.19. That is off 10 ticks. Our leaders in the clubhouse, dollar-wise, the upside, TransDigit Group, $26, nearly 2%. Can't really pronounce that. Next one, we'll go with HubSpot up $12. Skechers is up $12. Alnylam Pharmaceuticals up $11.27. Cable One is up $11. Our shakers, movers to the downside. Berkshire Hathaway off $26, 5%. Netflix off 19, 1.5%. MicroStrategy 7, nearly $18, 5%. Cantor Equity Partners almost $14, 30%. Tesla down $11, about a 4% move to the downside. So we got movers and we've got shakers, but we begin our day by looking at what? Well, take a look at the DAX. The DAX index out here, we are trading into its all-time high swing point. That swing point range is from 23,240.56 to 23,476.01 out there. Disregard the profile levels that you see. I closed today above 23,240.56. Increases the odds of at least testing that swing point. Now, if we take a look at what the DAX is doing, take a look at their other charts out here, see if there's any kind of top or bottom signal. Let's get to those DAX charts. Sorry, I thought that I had those ready to go. Here we go. Nope, that's not it either. That's Goldilocks. That wasn't the intention. Sorry about that, folks. See, I had it all set up, sort of had it all set up. Here we go. So now we've got the DAX popping up on our screen. Why are we going to take a look at the DAX? Well, because of the directional correlation between it and the NDX 100. So now, we take a look at the DAX on the upper left-hand side. You can see prices trading above. First, it negated a TD9 count pattern. Did that last week. Talks about a strong upward momentum move. Trading into that swing point that formed that Rhodes momentum indicator top back on March the 18th. Likely going to go test that level, maybe take it out. There's an A to B equals CD pad on the upside. It succeeded on the daily time frame, the 1-to-1 price objective. There is no topping signal on a daily time frame out here. The only potential topping signal we could get would be a good old Tom O'Brien test and rejection of a swing point on lighter volume out there. I don't even know how to get the volume for the DAX. So that piece of it I can't tell you. But first the question is, will price negate that top? And that means 23,476.01. You close above that, And likely the DAX is headed higher. And especially if on a weekly basis, price closes above that level. Why? Because it would negate its TD9 count top for the weekly time frame. And that TD9 count top, really did its work. It formed a TD9 count top and price came back, tested, rejected its breakout level, supported 20.025 out there. Now it can test that top and close back below it, and then you'd still retain the weekly TD9 count, so we won't really know till Friday. On a monthly time frame, what price really needs is the rally that it's seen right now. So if we do tick one tick above its all-time high, again, 23,476.01, on a monthly basis, we're going to go ahead and trigger a TD9 count top. That would complete next month out there. So we want to keep track of the DAX. Why do we want to keep track of the DAX, Stevie? I'm really not interested. No, you are interested. Why are you interested? Well, if you just take a look at the directional correlation that we have here. The top portion of the screen is the DAX. The center portion is the NASDAQ 100. The bottom portion is how the NASDAQ 100 and the DAX correlate with each other, directionally speaking. Bars, this is a 3-day average. Bars that are above zero tell you that you have a directional correlation, meaning they both move in the same direction. And again, when the bars are below zero, it's inverse. Well, we can see here, really going back into July of last year, 90% of the bars basically are above zero. So a very strong directional correlation. Why is that important? Well, if in fact the DAX takes out its highs out there, then maybe so too will the NASDAQ 100. Now, if we take a look at what's going on inside our markets, at least from the equity future standpoint out here, we got the daily time frame for the ES, the NQ, the Dow, and the Russell 2000. What you'll see here in the NQ, just sticking with it for the time being, is Friday was bar number 8 of a TD9 count. Today will become bar number 9. That says we'll have a TD9 count pattern at day's end. So long as price is able to close, this is the NQ, at 5 o'clock, is able to close above 19,642. Now, the pattern will complete tomorrow because the high of the pattern needs to be or can be on bars 8, bar 9, or the bar following bar number 9. You'll see the ES Mini and the NQ are doing really the same thing out here. It's the Dow that's been the one that has said, well, I'm not so sure if I want to form a TD9 count top. Well, turns out maybe it does. And if it ticks one tick above the high from Friday, again, that number is 41,506, we will have a confirmed bar number 8 at the high. 90% of the time, those turn into active TD9 count tops. So in the case of Russell 2000, it's completed its TD9 count top today. So that says we want to watch both support as well as the high of the pattern. So the high of the pattern at this moment in time is going to be Friday's high. Maybe we close above that high today. I don't know. If we don't, the number to be watching is 2034.30, because if we do close above that after today, let's assume that's the high of the pattern. Well, then that talks about the Russell 2000, strong upward momentum move that's in place out there, and that would suggest that it wants to get back towards the 2307 level. Now, back to the NQ out here, or even the NASDAQ, you'll see we're well off the session highs. We're well off its all-time highs out here. Let me just pull this chart back like this, whereas the DAX is now testing its all-time high. There is an A to B equals CD pattern out here that does not have to complete. It's just a pattern that is out there. If it goes on to form that and then forms a bearish reversal candle, that too would be a top. But right now, we're really just dealing with the TD9 counts. In the case of the S&P 500, the ES Mini, it was 9 days in a row to the upside. That was on Friday. So what does that mean? That means we should expect to see at least a 2-day pullback out there. If we take a look at the NQ out here, not as strong as the ES Mini. It only had a 4-bar move to the upside. Again, we should expect or anticipate a 2-bar pullback. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We've got a number of requests that are in, so let's get to those as soon as we get back from this break. See you in just a few.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. So our first request was actually from Friday's show. Came in from Tony in Philadelphia. So if you give me a moment, the ticker symbol we're going to look at here is RGTI. So we'll get that up on our screens out. Oh, geez. That's not it. Sorry about that. Get it up here momentarily. Now we should see RGTI daily, weekly, and the monthly time frame. So we look at the daily time frame. What do we have out here? So you have an A to B equals CD pattern to the upside. We can go ahead and draw that in. We'll draw in at least the A to B point out here, and it will just simply move that over to that C point. So I'll give you an approximate A to B equals CD price projection level. So it's basically hit the 1-to-1 A to B equals CD. If we do get a bearish reversal candle, just because today's candle is red does not mean this is a bearish reversal candle. If we were to get that, we would have a sell the D point top. Right now, it's just an inside bar today. Typically, an inside bar says that we would continue in the direction that we've come from, which would suggest that we move to the upside. The caution, though, here is we got an inside bar. We have price getting back inside the top of its daily profile, 983. That says that Friday's move right now, at least at 1119, was a false breakout signal. So we might get here, we had a 3-day rally. What you might get is just simply a 2-day pullback to test support, which would be right around the anywhere between 871 and 915 out there. So that's a daily time frame. The weekly time frame really tells you the entire picture. So I'm glad that we actually, everything in life is happening for us. And in this case here, Tony, glad that it wasn't a Friday that we took a look at this, because now what you and I can see on a weekly basis is just how strong that oscillator and change line is. Price has been below the oscillator and change line ever since the week of February 14th out there. And what happened on Friday, price tested and rejected that level. Now, we also have price that's trading above the top of its profile out here. The top of the profile is 934. Price starts closing below that level, you could get back to test its weekly TD9 count bottom. That went ahead and formed back on April the 11th. The low of that pattern is at 686 out there. Not going there just yet because you're going to keep an eye more on the daily time frame. But that oscillator and change line is going to be a key level. If price is able to close above that, that would be a very bullish or positive outcome. You'd still have a battle. That battle would be at 1234. So you're watching the 1081-ish area. That's the oscillator and change line, at least as of 1120 in the morning. We know that number changes up and down. On a monthly time frame, I don't have anything here really to share with you. Trading with inside a very wide profile goes, when I say wide, I mean wide. $2.74 up to $21.42 there. So we're just going to kind of park the monthly chart off to the side. And what you're watching for here, Tony, is really expected and anticipating at least a couple day pullback. See if price holds that support area, 871 to 915. Thanks for waiting a few days to go over that. Tom G writes in that he would like to take a look at light sweet crude. He's been trading it to the downside out there. If we take a look at light sweet crude right now, what do we have? So it's definitely trying to form a bottom, Tom. And how do I know that? Well, first, this trading session back here on April 9th, that is, that was a buy the D point bottom pattern. That was a nice big old bullish engulfing candle. I'm not worried whether it was wave number 7 or not. It was a buy the D point pattern. That said, support is at the low of that session. That's down at 54.67. We're looking at the June contract. Then 3 days ago, back on May 1st, May Day out here, we had a Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom confirmation with a bullish piercing candle out there. Now, its level of support is really low of that session, which is the bottom of the profile, 56.39 out there. And price is testing that level. What price has been unable to do out here is really been able to bust through the top of its profile. It's been a consolidation, Tom, which between the price range, the bottom is the bottom of the profile at 56.38, and the top, which was tested about a week and a half ago, 64.92. So right there, we just have a consolidation. The weekly time frame chart has an A to B equals CD pattern on the downside, but does not have the bullish reversal candle that it needs in order to confirm a buy the D point bottom. Price is trading below profile support, below its red oscillator and change line. That suggests that it wants to move lower and really go test that low out here from April the 9th. If we look at the monthly time frame chart, the month of April went ahead and found support at its breakout level at $57. We are trading below that level now. Of course, it's only the 5th. It's May 5th. Happy birthday, Janelle. That's my one of my sister-in-law's out there, 75 years young today. That's a beautiful thing. So back here in Light Sweet Crude, the weekly time frame chart is really kind of is really one with the issue right now. If we were to get a bullish reversal candle there, Tom, then you'd have a bottom on the daily, a bottom on the weekly, and I presume at this stage here, price on the monthly we get back up about $57. But right now, you got bottoms on the daily. Don't know whether they're going to fail or not out here. This is the spot here for a trader like you. You would probably take a shot to the upside. And now with regard to the upside, where price would find resistance or could find resistance, is that oscillator and change line currently at about $59.12. So that's what I see, Tom, when I take a look at light sweet crude. Next thing we're going to look at out here is going to be Goldilocks. And we take a look at gold. This is for somebody in the den. I had it out of order, but that's okay. I think it was Ron that wanted to take a look at gold. And his question is, he sensed that I'm kind of bearish on gold. You got that right. When I say bearish, really referring to directionally speaking out here, I don't think that the move to the upside is done necessarily in gold, but it should be done for right now. If we take a look at the daily time frame chart, the daily time frame chart has got a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top with price traded with inside its profile. Now, not until it closes below profile support, which it did for one basically half-hour period of time out there a couple of days ago. But if we do get two consecutive closes below 32.25.10, we'll have a profile change in trend. Quite frankly, we'll have an A to B equals CD pattern to the downside. But not until that happens. If we look at the weekly time frame chart, the weekly time frame chart this week will complete a TD9 count top. So even if we rally, which we could, because we're trading above profile. We're trading with inside its profile, by the way. It has profile resistance up at 33.90, support down at 29.70.50. But you got a confirmed TD9 count top on the weekly, a confirmed Rhodes Momentum Indicator top on the daily, and the monthly has a confirmed TD9 count topping pattern out there. So yes, everything here is pointing to gold should trade lower. But it did trade lower on the daily time frame. It did find support at the bottom of that profile. But as long as price remains below its oscillator and change line at 33.40, 143. Yes, my view is still that gold wants to move lower out there. Now, it would be helpful with regard to gold moving lower if the U.S. dollar index were to move higher. That doesn't have to take place out there, but we had a request in essence to take a look at by GTE, wants to take a look at the dollar, wants to take a look at the EEM. You know, I can't show you the U.S. dollar index chart out here with the data feed that I've got, but we've got the three currency pairs that make up the U.S. dollar index. What I can share with you is U.S. dollar index is consolidated with inside its profiles out there. Now, if we take a look at the euro's got a TD9 count top. Price remains below its oscillator and chain sign at a $1.14. As long as those conditions remain, we likely see lower price out there. If we see lower price in the euro, we're going to see a higher dollar. In the case of the Japanese yen, it's got a TD9 count. A bottom wants to trade higher. If it trades higher, it's going to weaken U.S. dollar index is going to get stronger. Now, we are trading below Friday's low out there. And in fact, if we do today generate a bearish reversal candle, we've got a three-river evening star. What the Japanese yen will trigger is a Gartley sell pattern. The Gartley sell pattern says price should pull back to the 142.37-ish area. If it gets below that, it'll go test its TD9 count bottom. That's the candle session from April the 22nd. The Great British Pound does not have a topping pattern. Not just yet out there. So with regard to the U.S. dollar index, it's really just a consolidation sideways with inside its profiles. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, reversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs? Trade wars? Analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the Trader's Edge is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. We're taking a look at the EEM. This is for GTE. Of course, the EEM, is sensitive to the direction of the U.S. dollar index, but we've really been consolidating sideways. Certainly over the last week or so, we've really been consolidating sideways for quite some time. If you look at the larger picture, the EEM is going to go ahead and complete a TD9 count topping pattern today. GTE, that suggests following bar number 9. So whatever today's high is, if price closes above that tomorrow, it negates that signal and suggests that we move higher. Otherwise, we should see price pull back to test support, which would be at about 43.52. That's from the daily time frame. The weekly time frame is just getting back to an area where it's had resistance before. You had a swing point from February 21st. You had another swing point from March 21st out there. Both of those were Three River Evening Stars. That sets up the real resistance level between 45.42, well, at about 45.40 and 45.42 out there. We are trading at 45.49 right now. That's a positive, but it's still just the early portion of the week. So watch that daily TD9 count top out there. That will give you clues as to what its real intention is. Let's move on to the next request coming in from Duncan. Steve inside the Tiger's Den wants to take a look at the semis via the SOXX out here. If we take a look at SOXX, it had a nice it's got it's triggered an A to B equals CD pattern to the upside, Steve-O, and it did that on Friday. So let's actually draw that pattern in here. The A point's going to be the TD9 count bottom. That was for many instruments, April the 7th, and the high out there for the B point's going to be April 9th. We're just simply going to go ahead and move this over to the C point. That's the lowest low that forms. It would happen to be a hammer candle back on the trade day of April 21st. So the 1-to-1 price projection, 197.16. There is no topping pattern in place out here for the daily time frame for the semis. They likely want to go target that A to B equals CD or 204.06, a TD9 count breakdown resistance level. Now, this is important because we've got a bit of a divergence out here. No topping pattern signal inside the semis. We most certainly do inside the NDX 100 and the NQ out there and the Qs with regard to their TD9 count status. So this is going to be an interesting battle. The reason I say that is that, if this were to be a major top, we're not going to see the SOX, the semiconductor index, head north with the market heading lower. That doesn't create major tops out there at all. So no topping signal on the daily time frame. How about the weekly? Excellent question there, Dunk. Well, on the weekly basis, price closed above its red oscillator and change line on Friday. We are still above that level today, and we are trading above the center of its profile here. All those are positive things, but it could start to get nasty. It could start raining if we were to see a close below 188.08. That's its oscillator and change line, then 186.83, because then we'd be back in the lower range of that profile. When we take a look at the monthly time frame, we likely have a TD9 count bottom pattern. This month is going to be bar number 9 of a TD9 count. That says that price needs to, in order for the pattern to form, price must close the month of May below 218.13 out there. But we like the daily, we like the weekly, we like the monthly out there, and that's this SOX. You also wanted to take a look at Amazon out there. Let me see if I've got that one up, or we need to pull that up. Yep, I believe it should be right here. Amazon. So we take a look at Amazon. What do we know about it? So I'm going to start with the monthly time frame. What we know about the monthly time frame is that price found support at its profile, bottom of its profile, 169.79. We've got a TD9 count bottom pattern on the weekly time frame. What price has struggled to do here, though, is get above the center of its profile. And that's at 190.68. 190.68 is where buyers and sellers believe on a weekly basis. That's where fair value is. That's between 184.82 and 202.39. Now, as long as price stays above 184.82, Amazon remains somewhat bullish. In the case of the daily time frame, you got a consolidation with inside its profile. The range there 180.25 to 190.22. So nothing broken, but nothing to celebrate necessarily to the upside, other than the fact you got a weekly TD9 count bottom, price holding support on the monthly time frame, and the daily just a consolidation right now inside its profile level. So, Doug, hope that helps you out. Phil wants to take a look at VGZB. I'm going to do that on this set of charts here. Phil, they should populate quicker, although I've noticed the system, that's not too bad. Okay, good. I had to shut down that e-signal system. So here, your question is, any good reasons to hold VGZ? So first, I'm going to answer that question by taking a look at the monthly time frame. And the monthly time frame has an A to B equals CD pattern on the upside. Yeah, I've got the C to D level. That's out here, Phil. So you can see you've attained the 1-to-1 area. That needs a bearish reversal candle to confirm a top. We're trading above a green oscillator and change line. We're trading above profile resistance. We're trading above its TD9 count breakout level at 76 cents. Longer term on the monthly basis, there's nothing wrong with this chart. If we look at the weekly time frame, well, if I've got an A to B equals CD pattern on the weekly, I know I've got it on the monthly. Do you see a bearish reversal candle on the weekly time? If I know I've got it on the monthly, then I have it on the weekly too. So the A to B equals CD pattern, that is. But do we have a bearish reversal candle? And the answer there is no, we do not. So we do not have a top on the weekly, even though it's at least attained its 1-to-1 A to B equals CD. Price is trading above profile resistance and its oscillator and change line, which is green. Those are bullish conditions. So now to the weekly time frame. Well, the weekly time frame is the daily time frame. The daily time frame did confirm a sell the D point pattern, and that was from April the 30th out there, that bear sash candle. Now, what price is doing, it is trading with inside its profile. Now, it did close below profile support, which was 93 cents for 2 consecutive days. But today it has rallied. Why? Because it's going to go with the direction of gold out there. And as long as price remains above 93 cents out there, okay, no problem. You'd love it to be above 96 cents. That's a green oscillator and change line, because that would suggest a move back up to the 104 level. So the monthly and the weekly, I don't know what your time frame was, Phil, but the monthly and the weekly look really good. The daily does have a sell the D point pattern, but price is traded with inside its profile out there. If we were to close below Friday's low is 88 cents out there. Then you would have a daily A to B equals CD pattern to the downside. No idea if that's going to come to fruition or not, just what to be watching for. So, Phil, I hope that helps you out. And are there any good reasons to hold? Well, the weekly and the monthly are volunteering for good reasons, that's for sure. Let's go take a look at Berkshire Hathaway out here. Obviously, big news with Warren stepping aside from day-to-day activities out there. Why didn't that take? It didn't, because I put in the wrong symbol. I need to use the ABRK-B. I need to use the underscore. And the question from Peak G is there a Peak G? Nope, there's no Peak G, but you knew that. Although I actually do have one Peak G out here. It hasn't shown up, but it will show up at day's end out there. But your question specifically was there any kind of a top? Yeah, that qualifies as a top. So let me open up that daily time frame. Let's go. Let's take a look at this together here with regard to part of the Chapman wave tool. So if we take a look at the black digits out here, AFG, I see where that blue one's coming from. So Stevie's going to say no Peak G top out here. What did price do? Well, price right now, with regard to Berkshire Hathaway, is just trading with inside its bearish structure daily profile. And we come back to the break, we'll talk about what that means and perhaps where it's headed to. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento. A pro's pro with over 50 years of experience, Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We're taking a look at the stock charts here for Berkshire Hathaway. What I want to do is see if I can find or identify an A to B equals CD pattern. I think that I can, but let's just take a look at it here. Here's the 8.1. One of the ones I'm looking at, the most conservative one that I could use would be April 19th low out there. That'd be the 8 point. TD9 count top would be the B point. That's from back in September 6th of 2024 out there. We're looking at the weekly time frame chart. Now, I move that over to the low that forms. You'll see that that's made the one-to-one level out there. So what I know is that we've got an A to B equals CD pattern for the daily time frame, for the weekly time frame, for the monthly time frame likely as well. So in the daily time frame, what you have today is peak is a sell the D point top with price trading below it's the center of its bear structured profile to increase the odds that price might want to pull back to the 485.17 level. Now, I say that at the same time, and we got to use OB1 swing point analysis theory out here. And if we take a look at the April 7 swing point, the volume on that was 12.7 million shares. And peak today so far, in a little over 2 hours of trading, we've done 10 million shares. So price is pushing into that swing point with volume. What that says at a minimum, and it doesn't have to be tomorrow, is, and it's rejecting that, but it's rejecting it with volume. So price should get back to at least test 505.85. If price closes below 505.85, it opens up that door for a move to 485.17. The weekly time frame chart right now has a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top, but the week has just begun. So I don't know if we're going to have a three-hour evening start or not. So very tough to call there. You're watching 518.77. That's the top of its weekly profile. Does it stay now back inside its profile? I don't know the answer to that. And the monthly time frame does not have any, even though it's got an A to B equals CD pattern, which we don't really need at this stage here because you can see the Rhodes Momentum Indicator signal that is triggered. That needs a bearish reversal candle. We just don't have that as we speak just yet with regard to Berkshire Hathaway. So you're saying any top? Yes, for the daily, maybe for the weekly. Nothing for the monthly out there. Dan wants to take a look at Agnico Eagle out here. AEM. So let's pull its stock charts up on our screen. What we're going to see out here is AEM is going to complete, or is going to form a TD9 count bottom pattern today. Interesting. And it's doing it with holding profile support at 112.49. We did close below it on Friday. We're back inside that profile. You get a TD9 count pattern. That will close so long as price is able to close the day below, which it should be able to do, but below 116.37. We're at 113.42 right now. On a weekly time frame, what do we have? Well, do we have A to B equals CD pattern on the upside? Do we have a wave number 7? We do definitely have a wave number 7 pattern out there, but price is testing its oscillator and change line. So what you want to watch here is going to be that OUL at about the 113 level. It's 113.04, but drop off the 4 cents out there. As long as price remains above that area out there, that's a bullish signal. So you got bullish on the weekly, potentially, the daily, bullish on the weekly, potentially bullish on the daily with that TD9 count bottom. And on a monthly time frame, let's populate the chart. Makes it a little bit easier. I don't see any kind of a top on a monthly basis out there. So everything looks, I don't remember what your question was, Dano, but I apologize. I just had enough time just to write down the instrument and get it posted here. So daily, got a bottom. Weekly so far, with that oscillator and change line holding, that's bullish. And the same thing on the monthly time frame. That is Agnico Eagle out there. Next question is going to be from Rye, who wants to take a look at TNGX. TNGX, you got to love the weekly because it's got a nice TD9 count bottom. What you hate about the weekly is price been unable to get back inside its profile. To do that, quite frankly, it needs a close above 178. If you get a close above 178 on a weekly basis, it says the move higher is not a counter trend move, and instead price should target 217 to 206. That's the weekly. The daily's got a Rhodes momentum indicator bottom. Price trading sideways to higher out there. Trading with inside its current profile. Support at 128, resistance 153. And then finally on the monthly time frame, actually, what you'd love to see here is TNGX push lower, push below last month's low at least just push below it. That would trigger bar number 8, it being 111 out there. So I don't have any kind of bottom signal on the monthly time frame. We do certainly on the daily and the weekly. Rye, I hope that helps you out with regard to TNGX. Next request is to take a look at the TLT. This is for Robert. So Robert wants to take a look at a swing trade. What I'm going to first do out here is I'll put up TLT. So we'll get that up on our screen out here. Give us a moment. He's looking for an entry point, would like to go long. So in the case of the TLT out here, just in analyzing it, it's got a nice monthly Rhodes momentum indicator bottom. Price has been trading somewhat sideways, so consolidating sideways between about 85 to 99, just ballparking those numbers out there. Price might be pulling back to test the bottom of its monthly profile at 86.57. On a weekly time frame, what do we have out here? You got to sell the D-point top, that's for sure. But price went ahead and found support at its breakout level at 86.53. And right now, price is consolidating with inside its daily profile. So 86.53 would be one of the numbers for you to consider and take a look at. 85.89 would be another number to take a look at. Price is trading right now inside its weekly swing point out here. That's suggesting lower price as long as price remains below 87.48. That's what it is suggesting. And then on the daily time frame, we have a test of the swing point today. That's a swing point from April 11th. The volume there, 94 million shares so far today. 8 million shares. So you're testing the swing point on lighter volume. If it's able to close back above 87.30 today, you're at 87.34, you would have a test and rejection of a swing point. If you can't bust them down, price would try to bust them the upside. Here's the problem, Robert, with your swing trade now, is you don't know if price is going to get back above its oscillator and change line, which is 88.11. So it doesn't provide a great risk reward. If you knew for sure that it would take that out and then head up towards the top of its profile at 93.18, well, then it's definitely a trade out there. Let's see what the 30-year Treasury is signaling to you and I. We're looking at the June contract out here. So let's put the 30-year Treasury up on our screen, see if we get any kind of a better feel or read. We're not going to on the monthly, that's for sure. But on the daily time frame, what this is suggesting to you and I is price is trading below its red oscillator and change line, trading right now just below profile support, the center of its profile, that is, and that's at the price point of 114. 114.23 out there. And as we close below 114.23 or 114.20, that's suggesting lower price out there. With lower price being the bottom of this profile about 112.19. That would be my preference, Robert. Would you would wait for price to get all the way back down to the bottom of that daily profile before you would take a swing trade being long the 30 years. So I hope that helps you out. And as always, thanks for your request. LB wants to take a PPTA and is interested in a price target to the upside. So let's see if we get these charts here populated. We are. So daily time frame. You're asking about price target. LB, you're going to complete a TD9 count top today on the daily time frame. Weekly time frame will likely form a TD9 count top today, this week on Friday. In order to do that, it just needs a close above $11.83. We're at $15 right now. So really, you got a daily TD9 count top that's completing. So with regard to upside targets, you don't consider those until you see a close above 1544. That was the high from Friday. That's likely the high out there. Instead, price should pull back and test support. And that first level is 1454. Below that, you'd be looking for a move anywhere between 1264 to 1327. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pros pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Welcome back, folks. So those that are long end video, what you'd like to see is for this to not do too much for the next several days. Today's going to become bar number 8 of a TD9 count. Tomorrow will likely become bar number 9, but it needs to poke its head above Friday's high. That's the high of bar number 7. That number is 115.40. Price close pokes its head above it, not today, but maybe tomorrow or the next day, you'll have a TD9 count top. So you're really looking for NVIDIA, quite frankly, if you're bullish, to kind of just stay here and pull back. NVIDIA on a weekly time frame has got resistance up at 117.95. That's the oscillator and change line because it's consolidated with inside its profile. The same thing on the monthly time frame. Price regained its profile, which means that we are now above 109.42 out there. So looking, just consolidation oriented on the daily and the weekly. And on the daily, the weekly and the monthly time frame, and daily, what you'd like to see is for NVIDIA to not do much for the next couple of days out there. Otherwise, it could trigger a TD9 count top. We're going to go take a BTU. This is for Vic. BTU on a daily time frame, it looks like you're going to get a profile change in trend signal. You're trading above profile resistance at 1287, a second consecutive close tomorrow above that would suggest that we move higher. You've got a nice Rhodes momentum indicator bottom for the daily, for the weekly, and for the monthly, you've got to buy the D pointer Gartley buy pattern. Last month was a bullish hammer candle, so BTU looks bullish for all of its time frames. A close above the center of its weekly profile. That number is at 1357. You ought to see a move to 1498 out there. Last thing that we'll get time to take a look at, this is going to be for Nicholas, who wants to take a look at JD. JD on a daily time frame has got a TD9 count. It's got a Rhodes momentum indicator bottom. Price should go target 36.15. That's its TD9 count breakdown level. The weekly time frame, which had a TD9 count top, found support at its breakout area, so its bottom likely to go target 38.27. And finally, the monthly is nothing more than consolidation with key resistance being 43.08. It's been tested a couple of times out there. Support is in the 26.50 to 28.87 level. Folks, stay tuned for all the great programming. Thanks so much for joining me today on Magical Monday. That's what I hope you have. I'll see you later on with Jacob. Take care and have a great day. Be safe out there.